So we had really big banners that we posted onto the front gate of the Russian consulate.
We saw a jeep of soldiers came from the hill, where's the wall. He's standing 30 meters from us, and the commander came out from the jeep and he shot him direct to his leg.
Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to The Struggle. The Struggle is shown on over 30 cable stations from Vermont to New York City. Our newest cablecaster is in Madison, Connecticut. On the program today, interviews about Syria, more of Iyad Burnat talking about Bil'in, Palestine, and the results of an Israeli trial. We start with a demonstration in San Francisco. A couple of weeks ago, a group of Palestinians in that city held a protest outside the Russian consulate in support of Syria. I interviewed Nadya Tannous by phone and will play a bit of her talk here, along with photos.
On the 22nd, the Palestinian youth movement basically sent out a call to our local communities here to come with us in the morning to the Russian consulate and do a die-in at the front door. Basically to call for Syrian self-determination and to really call out Russia for its involvement in Syria and in backing the Assad regime. So we had really big banners that we posted onto the front gate of the Russian consulate, and we had maybe about 20 people covered in white shirts with blood splattered on them, so red paint splattered on them, lying all across the pavement.
I very much want to praise these young Palestinians. A lot of the older generation of Palestinians have refused to come out in support of the democratic forces in Syria, either hiding their eyes about the whole situation or preferring Assad, preferring the dynasty which they should know has almost always betrayed Palestinian interests. On January 7th in Connecticut, the Connecticut Syria Group and co-sponsors is holding a forum where Syrians will talk about Syria. A principal speaker is Yasser Munif, a professor who teaches at Emerson College. I interviewed him on the 29th in particular to hear what he had to say about the claim of the so-called anti-imperialists who say that before it was conquered, eastern Aleppo was run by Al-Qaeda.
All right, now let's go back to Aleppo. Maybe a couple months ago, the special UN representative on Syria, Staffan de Mistura, said that there were 8,000 fighters in eastern Aleppo. About 900 or so were Al-Qaeda. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the estimates. Others have provided other estimates saying that there were only 200 to 300 Al-Qaeda fighters, and up to 9,000, mostly FSA groups in Aleppo.
But the so-called anti-imperialists just say, oh, eastern Aleppo, the Al-Qaeda ruled, etc., etc.
Right. I mean, that's the kind of discourse that they have adopted, oversimplification of the Syrian conflict and using some of the Syrian regime propaganda, and anyone opposing the Syrian regime becomes Islamist. It's almost like an Orientalist view or worldview of what's happening in Syria. So because those groups some of them are pious, because they are Sunni, they are branded as Islamist and as Al-Qaeda affiliated. Whereas some of those anti-imperialist thinkers or intellectuals will never say the same thing about the 60-plus Shia militias who are fighting with the Syrian regime, and more than 100,000 national forces who are mostly sectarian and Shia.
Hear the full interview on our YouTube channel, Struggle Video Media. The best path to get there is to go to our website, thestruggle.org, and click on the letters that say in green, click for the latest video. We continue with the talk by Iyad Burnat in Providence, Rhode Island. Burnat is from Bil'in in Palestine, the town made famous by the film Five Broken Cameras. Most of our steady viewers know all about the weekly marches in Bil'in, where people try to recover their land stolen by the apartheid wall, and of all the violence used against people during these marches. What is not as well known is the other violence, the violence inside their homes by the Israeli army, often in the middle of the night. And Burnat talks about that. I add some captions in the following for emphasis.
Of the violence that they use it against us in the demonstration. Yes, they was beating us in the demonstration, they arrested us, they shooting us, they used many kinds of weapons against us. It was lots of violence, but in this part it's a violence against our children. And they mean to do that, especially at night time, to scare the children, to arrest the children that who is participate in the demonstration sometimes. Or sometimes they arrested many of the children that they didn't participate in the demonstration, just to take him, to scare them, to put them in jail. They arrested about 150 from the village. They put him in jail between 4 months to 18 months. Each one of them have to pay to the court lots of money, between 5 to 15,000 shekel. And this to break the families, to break the resistance, to break the way of the non-violent resistance. And also for the small children, how many problems, psychology problems that we have in the village just because of the night raids. And I remember and maybe Ian was there also when they was raiding the night raids. We was waking all the night watching the soldiers coming, because they was coming by foot, like 100, 200 soldiers in the same time coming, raiding many houses in the same time. And in my home, they raid my home more than 15 times. I have 5 kids at home, and they have many stories to tell about the night raids. And once when we was just watching in the roof, and because it's in here, they came to my home. We had 2 international in that day in my home, one of them in, and they entered the house. You know, some international there sometimes taking photos, trying to take photos to the soldiers, trying to list the violence. When they saw international and cameras, they list the violence, they didn't broken things in the houses. So when the commander, he tried to stop the internationals to take photos. And my son, Abdul Khalik, was 9 years, and he tried to take a photo by the phone. One of the soldiers pushed him to the, beat him and pushed him to the wall. He tried to take his phone from him. But when they tried to stop the international to take photos, they asking him why. He said it's a closed military area. Closed military area inside of the house in the middle of the night, with the children waking everybody, children, everybody when they are asleep. And you cannot explain when you see 20 soldiers inside of the house, cover their faces with machine guns, big guns, with dogs inside of the house with all these children. And it was happened every night sometimes. Just when I was here in this tour, they raided the village 3 times at night. They arrested 4 children. So they continue to do this violence against this village because they know that this way of non-violence show this phase of the violence. Because they know that we succeed. We have many succeeds in the ground, many succeeds outside, in the social media, in the media outside, everywhere. We succeed to push many people and many international media to come to cover what's happened in Bil'in. So this is at night also, that everybody have to go outside of his house, children, everybody. This is other strategy or tactic that they use against us also, to change the demonstration to violent. That they're using soldiers, special forces, undercover, they use them to participate in the demonstration. In our strategy is that everybody know that we never started throwing stones, for example. We never started the violence. They always, when they saw the people coming, they starting to shoot to them the tear gas canisters and these weapons. Especially in the big demonstration, that we have a big demonstration, we call for international media, the villages around Bil'in, we call members in the Israeli Knesset, Arabs, we call members in the parliament. So famous people in this demonstration, international media, they want to show that this demonstration is a violent by using these special forces to throw stones to the soldiers. But because we know our strategy, we know them. We try to stop them, that this one is a soldier, and this one is a soldier undercover. So here they arrested my brother also. He's tried to stop them. He tried to tell them that we didn't do that in our demonstration. They take their guns, they start to shoot to scare the people. They are very dangerous group in the army, and they arrested 2 of our friends. They used them many times in this demonstration. They used them to arrest children in the daytime sometimes or at night time. 17th of April 2009, we lost our friend Basim Abu Rahma by shooting him a tear gas canister direct to his chest. I think you have to see five-broken cameras to know more about Basim Abu Rahma. Basim is a simple man, peaceful man. I never saw him carry stone. So he was just talking, and we lost him in 1 minute because of this violence. Every week he was in the beginning, he was welcomed international Israeli activists to participate in the demonstration. So everybody know him, everybody love him, especially the children in the village, they missed him. And 1st of January 2011, we lost his sister, Jawahir Abu Rahma, in the same weekly demonstration. This is our friend Ashraf, and it's a big story, and it's important to talk about this now. This photo is taken from YouTube, that he's been arrested in the checkpoint, and this is what's happened now in Palestine, and what the propaganda said, that all the Palestinian children have knives, and they want to attack the Israeli soldiers in the checkpoints. This is what happened really on the ground. They arrested Palestinians, they tied his hand, they tied his eyes, and the commander there is given order to the soldier to shoot him direct when he was arrested. It's happened in many checkpoints in Palestine, but this time it was by chance. We have a girl who was taking a video from her window to what's happened, and it's in YouTube. Search Ashraf Abu Rahma arrested, you find all the YouTube how they shot him. But this happened every day in Palestine, in the checkpoints. Every day we hear that Palestinians kill in a checkpoint, and in the propaganda we hear that he have a knife. We have many videos that shows the Israeli soldiers kill these children in the cheekpoints, and they put near them knives. Go to Hebron, you can see. Search Hebron, you can see. When the soldiers bring the knives from the jeeps and they put it near the body of the child or a girl. And it's happened now, that's in all Palestine. Because we have 400 checkpoints in Palestine, and the Palestinians have to cross these checkpoints. They do it against the children, especially in these checkpoints. And then they said this child tried to attack the checkpoint, the soldiers, by knife. If he's have knife as a child, 14, or a girl, 15 years old, 9 soldiers cannot arrested here, or stop here, or shoot her in her leg, for example. Why they kill the people in the head direct? A girl, she refused to take her hijab in a checkpoint. They killed her. So this is what's happened in the ground. This is also part of our people, Palestinians, who's coming to participate with us in a weekly demonstration from 1948, and they use against them also the violence. They make checkpoints for them to arrest them. If they succeed to come to demonstration, they get treated like the Palestinians and international Israelis activists also in the demonstration.
Here Burnat talks about a terrible injury inflicted upon one of his sons.
So this one of the victims is my son, my oldest son, Madjid, that's been shot by live bullet direct to his leg. He's lost feeling and moving his leg because the bullet damaged the main nerve in his leg. And also it was a story that when they shot him, it was a demonstration to support Gaza in that time, 2014, the time of the massacre in Gaza, when they killed 2,200 people in less than 1 month, 800 children being born in their houses. We participate as other villages in these demonstrations to stop the massacre in Gaza. It was Thursday, 31st of July, 2014. It was Thursday, and the demonstration was ended in that day. We went back to the village, and we was close to my home with my son, Madjid. We saw a jeep of soldiers came from the hill, where's the wall. He's standing 30 meters from us, and the commander came out from the jeep and he shot him direct to his leg. So this was a bad message for the village, for the family, for me. When you see your son felt in front of you, and to give also a treatment that's example of many children in Palestine. To give a treatment for a child in Palestine is very hard. He spent 8 days in Ramallah hospital, and they said that we didn't have a nerve doctor in Ramallah hospital to make the surgery for him, and the equipment, that they didn't have it. So we have to take him to Al-Maqasid hospital in Jerusalem. And Al-Maqasid hospital is very difficult to go there because you, as a Palestinian, you need a permission to go to Jerusalem. We take him to Jordan. In our way to Jordan, they stopped him 2 hours in the border when he was in the ambulance. He spent 1 week again in Jordan. The doctors there said, you have to take him to Al-Maqasid hospital because the professor who's made the surgery is there. So we made a date with the professor in Al-Maqasid, and we went back to West Bank. In our way back, the same, they stop him for 3 hours, they give him a paper to meet with the interrogation in the same day of his surgery. We apply again for a permission to go, they refuse to give anyone of his family a permission. They refuse to give him and the ambulance also. And he have to do the surgery in this time. So we called 2 of our friends, Israeli activists, who came at the middle of the night. They put him in the back of the car and they succeed to take him from other way to Al-Maqasid hospital. He spent another 10 days there. He did the surgery without anyone of his family. But after 2 years of his injury, before I came, his professor said it's a 0 succeed. So he's lost his foot as a feeling and moving his foot. He have a drop foot now. And one of the reasons that there is 0 succeed is because it takes long time before the surgery. So this is how to give treatments for the Palestinian children when they are injured or when they are sick. You cannot go to a city, it's Palestinian city, Palestinian hospital, 20 kilometers from you, and you cannot go there. You need a permission to go to this city. So this is how we dealing with the occupation. How is our life under the occupation? This is another message that they sent it to me just a few months ago when the 6 soldiers attacked me in the demonstration from my bag, and it was really, I've been arrested many times, I've been beaten many times in the demonstration, injured many times, but this time it was a big difference than other times. That I felt how much these people hate us, how much these people didn't want us to be in this land, how much they want to break us by using this violence against us. So in this time it was a weekly demonstration, and we find a soldiers that was all the night sleeping under the trees and the walls. In the night they came to wait for the demonstration. They let the people to cross them, the soldiers waiting for the demonstration. They didn't throw tear gas in that day, so we stopped. And in 1 minute I have 6 soldiers attacking me. And they're starting to beating me in all my body. They broke in 2 ribs in my chest. And the way that they was beating me, that's give me this feel. The soldiers beating by guns, by sticks, by foot. And they didn't ask me any question. They just came to me. They didn't ask me about my name. What they mean to do that? And when they arrested me, they tie my hands and they tie my eyes. Before they tie my eyes, they spray the thing that they put it in my eyes by a paper tear gas to make it more pain when they arrested me. So all my body in pain. I have 2 ribs broken, and the pain that comes from my eyes. They throw me in the ground of the jeep. Soldiers sitting in these chairs in the jeep, and they putting their boots in my body. They was laughing to me when I was asking, take me to the doctor or to the hospital. He was throwing bad words against me, against the family, against the village. And then they didn't take me to the court or to the jail. They throw me in a settler's road. And you know how much it's very dangerous to be in the middle of the night in a settler road. or I have to deal with myself to call the ambulance and to take me to the hospital. So these things that give you feel how much these people didn't want us to be in this land, and how much these people didn't have hairs, they have stones. But we are continue until now our demonstrations, and we will continue because we didn't like to go to these demonstrations to be injured or arrested. We're going because we're looking for a better future for our children and all children. And we succeed to grow it in many places. We succeed to send the message outside everywhere, and we will continue our resistance. So thank you. If you have any question, please welcome.
Thank you.
After his tour in the U.S., back in Palestine, Burnat joins the weekly demonstration. On his Facebook page, he notes that Israelis killed 34 Palestinian children in 2016. Before we go, a note. An Israeli court, in a rare decision, has found that an Israeli soldier was guilty of manslaughter in the death of a Palestinian. He was wounded. Help was sprawling on the ground after a supposed knife attack. The judge noted that the soldier's defense was contradictory. The soldier claimed both that the victim was dead when he was shot and that he might also have been alive and planning a last desperate attack. Immediately after the verdict, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu called for a pardon. This would be popular among Israeli Jews. A Snap poll found that 67% wanted a pardon. The decision is not up to Netanyahu, it's up to the Israeli president, Reuven Rivlin. Maybe he will allow a tiny measure of justice for this Palestinian. Here's a Latuf comment on the sentiment among the Israeli Jewish community. That's our program for today. See you next week at this time. I'm Stanley Heller. Thanks for watching The Struggle.